welcome to Grounds for Discussion. I'm your host, Patty. This week, I have Joanna Viezda, Joe, from Real Estate by Joe. We have been talking a little bit behind the scenes, and let me tell you, I think this woman, is a go-getter, and I'm excited to have the conversation about what drives Real Estate by Joe. Joanna, welcome to the podcast.
Hey. Hi, I'm Joanna Viezda with Real Estate by Joe. So I'm very familiar and comfortable behind a camera. I'd say I have a voice that projects. And
You do. I love it.
I talk too much, so let's hear it.
All right, let's get going. Joanna, and I don't know why I'm calling you Joanna, because either one, you go by Joe or Joanna, and I've heard your commercials.
Yes.
On the radio, and I love them because I find myself saying, I'm a hardworking farm girl, Real Estate by Joe. Yes. I mean, it just sticks. Yeah. And it's something that so many of us in this area can relate to. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with
Real Estate by Joe branding? Mm-hmm. So I did the Chuck Medford branding seminar that he has here locally. And I started advertising with the radio. I'm a big believer in advertising, marketing, and that's probably part of my success in real estate. That's what is going to make you successful. You have to believe in that and you have to invest in it. And so I went to his branding seminar, and it was what makes you different. And so I just started saying, this is what I do. And he literally said, everything you say and do is all about hard work, and you learned everything from basically being on the farm. So he's like, you're a hardworking Minnesota farm girl.
And it stuck.
And it stuck.
And it works.
And it works.
So are you born and raised Minnesota?
Yes. Yep. So I grew up on a little dairy farm in southern Pope County, or Pope County, I shouldn't say southern Pope County, southern Douglas County, more Pope County. And my parents milked cows and I was born in the 80s. So we did the old school, like 60 cow milking. I was milking cows at like age 9 before I could even reach. And I did all the things. I hauled silage by a wheelbarrow. I shoveled silage. I have a huge scar on my finger.
You do. I can attest. It's right there.
Yeah, that's actually from hauling silage out of a cart. And the cart was all metal. And I'll never forget it. It's just being on a farm. Like, you don't think of that stuff. And there's metal that was tore off the edge. It was a farm cart. And I backed up with a wheelbarrow, and it literally sliced my finger open. Like, completely sliced it open to the bone. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I never went.
You probably just wrapped it and kept going.
Yep, that's exactly what my mom did. She went and got duct tape, wrapped it, and I kept going. And to this day, I'm reminded, like, that was probably something I should have been in the hospital for.
No kidding. Down to the bone.
Down to the bone.
Oh my gosh.
You can see, like, how big it is even. It's just.
Right, all these years later.
Yeah.
That was 9 when that happened?
I don't even know how old I was then.
Little.
But big enough or old enough to haul a wheelbarrow, so somewhere there.
So before we get to real estate, milk farming and the milking cows, is it true that you guys would have to get up super early?
Oh yeah, so the cows are very routine. So you had to milk, and some cows you can milk 3 times a day. Most farmers milk twice a day. So it was in a 12-hour. So you had to go at 5 in the morning, at 5 at night. You know, some people milk at 4:30 in the morning, because it's all when you want to start in the evening. Because when you milk cows, I mean, starting at 5 in the evening, you're done with chores at 7. I mean, that's a long time. So my parents always chose 5. So you had to be up in the barn by, my biological clock is like 5:45.
Oh my gosh. So to this day, you get up early.
Yeah.
Isn't that something how the body is accustomed to?
Very much.
That kind of, I get up every day at 4:30.
Oh my gosh. Bless your heart.
Well, and then truck season, it's 3 a.m. That's brutal. But I set an alarm, but I wake up before an alarm.
Because you know.
Do you do the same? I don't have an internal circadian rhythm that wakes up super early.
Yeah. That's good. Do you go to bed early?
I try to lay down around 8:30, and I have to admit I'm super horrible about taking the cell phone and
scrolling.
Yes,
scrolling.
Gosh. Yeah, it's like my unwind time.
Yeah.
So I sit there for 30 minutes, and then I'll fall asleep around 9:15, and then 4:30, bang, wide awake. It's great. Okay, so let's talk real estate.
Oh gosh.
Yes. And I want to know several things. I know. I'm so curious. I'm so fascinated because it's an industry. It's much like being an entrepreneur.
Oh, for sure.
And you are. You got to run your own show. You got to show up when you show up, and no one's telling you to do that. You do it.
Yep.
It's all you. And you've got your own company. Mm-hmm. You've got, I don't know, you'll have to tell me, are they employees? Are they partners? How does that work in the real estate world? So I'm going to start with two things. How long have you been doing it? And did you always know you wanted to get into real estate?
Oh my gosh. So I've been doing real estate for 18 years. I don't know that I always wanted to do real estate. I didn't know that. I actually have a degree in interior design, and my goal was to be an architect. So this was kind of the thing that I fell into. I do believe that was kind of my destiny, because I remember as a kid, my dad had inherited a couple properties and he was in construction. So we'd go on his job sites, and I was always around buildings and stuff like that. And then he inherited a property, and I remember thinking at a little age, like, let's make this a rental property.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that, like, super young.
Little Joe
yeah,
is already.
Like 6, like, hey, let's do this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and my dad never to this day, like, he didn't do anything with it. And I remember growing up thinking, why didn't we ever do anything with that? Like, and my parents didn't save. They didn't plan for the future, right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember looking at that and thinking, you could have had a passive income. It would have been paid off by now. Like, and I think that sunk in. And so now before I started in real estate, I actually bought an investment property. And I had taken my test, not gotten my license, and then I bought an investment property, and then I was like, you know what, I really should just do this. And at that point, I had already had my interior design degree, and I had already decided I'm not doing architecture. And then I just started doing real estate and buying property and selling it.
So here you are. How many years in?
18.
18. And have you always done it in Alexandria?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I came to Alexandria actually by accident. I came here to go to finish my degree in interior design at the tech school, and I started working at Bugaboo Bay then, and for our graduating class, I got the busiest award. Oh. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school for interior design. I was getting my real estate license, and I'm like, am I really that busy? Mm-hmm. Like, really? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm just like a busy person. I'm just always on. And in doing waitressing, it's a lot of sales, talking to people. So you get used to that. And mm-hmm. real estate was just natural for me. It's like, okay. So I started selling, and I'm really goal oriented. I'm really driven. So all I did is start selling real estate. And then I was like, well, how much do I want to make? I want to make this. So I started with, I want to sell 1 house a month. I want to get 1 listing a month. And actually, it wasn't even that. I think I want to sell 1 house every 6 months. It was really small, mm-hmm. like my goal. And then I was like, okay, I did it. And then I remember one year I said, I think it was in 2009, I said, I want to sell all my listings this year. And I had 12 listings. Like, woo. And I did. I sold them all. I was like, oh my gosh, I sold them all. Like, I was out of listings. I'm like, oh. So
now
then,
what?
Yeah. Right? And then I realized, I'm like, okay, now
I can do this.
I can do this, but I learned that you have to have a pipeline, right? Like, I was like, oh, you can't just sell what you get. It's like, you have to sell what you get, and you have to constantly be filling the pipeline. And that's where I learned the marketing thing. Mm. Like, you have to market to continue to fill the pipeline, and you have to focus on selling these.
So you have, and I'm going to be very sincere, I don't know anything about the real estate world. So you have listings, and those are houses that people are selling mm-hmm. through you.
Yes.
And then you don't always sell all those listings.
No.
And do you have like a time limit that you have to sell the listings by? Like, do you call them customers?
Clients.
Do they say, I want my house sold in 3 months?
Well, yeah. There's those people. So when you do real estate, you do a contract. And I can't say what people's contract is because mm-hmm. I can't make a general statement. Mm-hmm. I do my contracts, and I give myself ample time to sell it. And I feel like I've been doing this long enough, I should be able to sell it in that time. And we can renew. There's some things that happen sometimes that they don't sell in that time. Price, timing, wrong season, things like that. Or sometimes it's just not the seller's time to sell, because pricing is huge. Like, I think in real estate, I know this, a lot of people think I make the price, right? They're like, oh, you do, but I don't. the consumer. You, the seller, and the buyer make the price. What the consumer is willing to pay is really what the home is worth, regardless of
what your thought is or what your educated opinion is.
Yeah, and my educated opinion is based on what I see buyers buying for. And so I'm like, hey, your home is worth this. Now, it's not a science. So yeah, it could sell for a little bit more because you have certain amenities. Or it could sell less because we're in the wrong time of the year. Your house is not that clean. It's not that nice. It's not that well taken care of. Or whatever. I mean, there's just little things. Or you get offers where I say you should have been listed and you don't want to be there. You're like, no, I want to try here. Well, the market only is what it is. I can't make it. And so sometimes people are like, I don't want to take those prices. I don't want to sell there. And it's like, okay, well then I didn't sell it, which is really hard for me. I don't like to not sell them because when I take a listing, my goal is to sell it. Like I don't like to take them. I feel so invested in it. It's like I personally put myself into it that if it doesn't sell, I feel completely defeated. Oh, it's kind of terrible.
Yeah, right. That's a heavy load to work through.
Yeah.
So you have a house that didn't sell. How do you process that personally?
I'm a weirdo and I work out a lot.
Excellent.
So I'm a CrossFitter. I love the gym. And people want to say what they want to say about CrossFit. And I think CrossFit saved my life. Oh. For real. Like
no way.
Yeah, way. Okay. Yeah, mentally. Okay.
So tell me more about that. We're going to kind of go off on a different avenue here because I am curious. That's a big statement.
Yeah. I went through a lot in my life and I've always kind of had a tumultuous life. Like I'm always busy. I'm one of 9 kids. Yeah. Wow. I got a lot. What bag do you want to open?
No kidding.
Yeah. So I'm not the first. I'm not the oldest. I'm not the first girl. I'm not the first boy. I'm like, or not the first girl, not the first child. And I'm the prodigal middle child, right? I'm the third. Right?
High five.
Same. High five. Yeah, right. So I always had to fight to get my position. But then there's all these people below me, right? I have multiple siblings, 6 siblings below me. And so I just have always been busy. And I was high enough in my hierarchical sibling status that I had to take care of a lot of people. So that's also...
You really did, didn't you?
Yeah.
When you think about it, you had 6 below you.
So I had all of those to take care of. So I think that that's part of why I'm really good at real estate too, is I'm very conscious of my surroundings. I'm very conscious of, I'm a caretaker, right? I'm like, okay, I can remember who I have to take care of and why, because I grew up as one of the oldest. I wasn't the oldest, so I didn't get to like get certain privileges of my older brother and sister. It was like, well, you're one of the oldest. And it was like, but I was the youngest of the oldest. So they were like, you got to do it. So,
a lot of responsibility, it sounds like, fell on you.
Yeah, and it did. And it was just because of both sides. Like, my older brother and sister were like, you're younger, you do it. And my parents were all like, you 3 are the oldest, so take care of them. And it just, and maybe it's just my makeup. I mean, really, it might just be who I am. But I've always had a life of, like, active, tumultuous. And then I always worked out. I was always super active. But it wasn't enough. Like, it got to a point where I was doing a lot of real estate. I was super stressed out. I'd not sell listings. Like, that's how we got here, right? And so it was like, how do you get rid of all that stress? How do you get rid of it when somebody... Because I deal with a lot of emotional abuse. Like, people are, like, mad at you because their house isn't selling. They're mad at you because it's not showing enough. And they want to sit and tell you it's your fault, right? Why isn't my house selling? Why didn't it... And you're like, because you didn't list it where I told you. I mean, it literally price... and location is everything. And it's like, I didn't make this up. It is what it is. But I do sometimes take projects that I shouldn't have or hire or whatever because I'm an optimist. So I'm like, okay, we can do this. And so sometimes you can't. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes people aren't ready to sell. And I wear all that. And so I was getting really stressed out, working out. My workouts weren't enough. They were just... like, I would go there, work out, and it wasn't enough. So then I found CrossFit because my girlfriend Devin told me about it. And I started doing it. And CrossFit is so intense that it was the one place I could go. And I literally could lose my mind. In the sense of, like, it was so hard physically. And it doesn't have to be. Like, I'm not trying to scare people away from it. You make it what you want to make it, right? It's your adventure. And so... there's always, like, scaled options, or you can do the hardest. And I was just like, well, I want to be an athlete. So I'm gonna work up to that level. And so it was something that was physically hard that could expel that stress. And I would go there and I wouldn't have to think at all. Nobody could get a hold of me. The coach told me what to do. And it was like a place of solitude for an hour that I just got to go and like blow off all this steam.
Thank goodness for CrossFit.
Yeah.
You know, as we talk and I'm listening and I'm thinking, yeah, you have a lot coming at you. You know, people selling their homes, that's a big deal.
It's a super emotional ride for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to bear the brunt a lot, I'm assuming.
All the time.
Of that.
All the time.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Yeah. And I would say in real estate, it's actually, in the end, it's good. But I'd say that the majority of the real estate transaction is rough, is a ride. It's super stressful. They're making an offer. It didn't get accepted. They're getting a counter offer, and it's not the counter offer they want. They're not going up high enough. They asked for that furniture. The closing's too late. Oh, we didn't hear anything. I mean, real estate has become this monster of like, you are always on and you have such high standards of like, you need to be in contact with me. I wanted you to talk to me yesterday and you didn't. And it's like, you're not my only client. You're not my only person in my life. And sometimes I just have to accept, I didn't get to you yesterday.
And you have life.
Yeah.
You have children. You've got crazy busy kids. How do you find the balance in all? Like, how many listings do you personally take on at one time?
Oh my gosh. I there isn't a number. I don't have a balance that way. I mean, it's seasonal. So this is the time of the year that we get super busy. We take a lot on. So we're doing like 4 a week. But some weeks are 4, some weeks are 1. It just really depends. And it's not something I can put a number on. And how do I find balance? I think that's just how I'm wired. Like, I just find balance. I'm able to do a lot. And I try to put my kids first.
How much do you sleep?
I actually sleep a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm
You're
kind
able
of
to squeeze it in.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I sleep like a rock.
Oh, good.
And
with your physical activity, that helps, I bet.
I think that is why I literally go to bed. I go to bed at 9, like you, and I scroll for a little while, and then it's like about 10 o'clock, 10:30, between 10 and 11, I go to bed, and then I sleep till 6. 5:45.
You do get some good sleep. I'm glad to hear that. So, your office, 2 things, is located where? And then do you have office hours? Like, what does that look like for you?
Okay, so I have a bricks and mortar office, and it's located at 203 Broadway Street, Alexandria, Minnesota, right across from Big Ole. So we have the best spot in town, I think. Super cool.
I would say. So I'm going to plug your location because I do think it's great. And Big Ole, that area in the summertime is such a high traffic area.
It's so explosive. Yeah.
So I love that the museum, Real Estate by Joe, Copper Trail, and what's the other restaurant? The Depot. It's such a nice little hub, a nice balance of what downtown and Alexandria has to offer.
And how about you? Because I see you down there, and you have your coffee cart down there, or your coffee truck. So you go to the art market and the farmer's market?
Yeah, I'm kind of already feeling palpitations about that. Because season 1, I was ready to go. I'm like, yep, I'm going to have 4 rigs on the road in less than 5 years. I want all these trucks. And I'd never worked a food truck.
Oh,
right?
Gosh.
Like, I
had no idea.
What I did to learn, I mean, I didn't even shadow with anyone. I watched YouTube videos and YouTube video after YouTube video. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I got it. But I was not prepared, even with my background in the field that I worked in, and working 18-hour shifts was not out of the norm. It did not prepare me for what that entailed.
The rushes.
The volume of work that goes in before. You know, I just had Amber and her husband, Jeff from Papa K's. That episode goes live tonight or tomorrow. We'll see when I can get it posted. But the amount of work that goes in beforehand, I get up at 3 a.m. for 14 Saturdays in a row.
Oh my gosh.
It's so painful to get up that early, and we come to the shop, we load the truck with supplies, and we're down at Big Ole, hopefully by 6:30 or 7 a.m. And then it takes that much time to set up
Down
the
there.
inside of it, turn the machines on, get your syrups out, all that stuff. It's so much work. Had I known what we were going to face, I'd have said, not that I can't do that work, because obviously I can. We were in season 4. I would have said, I don't want to work that hard.
Oh
but
gosh.
we did it. We committed to it. And I think it's just, honestly, I don't want to sound presumptuous, or it's nothing to do with ego. It has to do with being part of the community that we live in.
Right.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's the same approach that I brought to nursing, that I'm here with this patient as an example. They're going to get 100% of my attention. And I'm going to do everything I can to help them work through whatever it is they're going through. Same thing with the truck, same thing with the business. You're never done. I'm sure, like you with real estate, you're never done.
No, you are not.
You keep.
I actually had heard this from a gal who used to work for me, and she said, I'm not done, I'm just leaving.
Exactly. That is like, so true.
I'm going to keep that one in my pocket. Like, that's good. You're never done.
No.
You are never done in real estate. You will always, the only way you're done is if you quit the business. And even then, I don't think you're done. I think your phone keeps ringing. You're just like, I'm out. Right?
So how do you handle that? How do you deal with, as we're sitting here, I hope I don't disclose something I shouldn't, but you're working. You're on your phone and you're working, communicating. Do you have, like, for me as an example, when I leave on a Saturday night, I don't answer any texts from, hey, can I get a coffee rental, or can we book the truck, or even employees. Unless it's a 911, I will not answer that until the next day that I'm at work, which now it's on Sundays. Do you set yourself a boundary? Which I think is healthy.
Oh, yeah. Boundaries are super healthy. In real estate, good luck. You will be done. You might as well. And I mean that. Like, I've had.
Yeah, I know you do.
I've had plenty of people in real estate come and work. And actually, that's something I wear heavily is people coming to work for me, and then they don't succeed, or they don't do as much. Because I'm a driver, I'm a pusher. And it's huge. And real estate is the most invasive, and it is a grind all the time. And so if you cannot always be used to being on, and I mean, you don't get to not answer. You don't get to not answer unless you just don't care if you sell anything, right? But if you want to be good and you want to make some money, then you have to be okay with always being on. The only time I think that real estate shuts down is basically, I would say arguably, honestly, from 10 to 7. Like I'll get texts till like 9 at night. After 10, it's going to be emails, and it's okay that you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. And then I would say it turns on by 7 something, 8 something in the morning. And so if you don't, and that's my advice to anybody who's like, I want to be a realtor. If you don't want to be on all the time, don't get into it. Don't even start. Because I don't smoke. I don't drink. I honestly have like almost completely quit drinking because I cannot do contracts and be hungover.
Right.
Well, and I just like, I cannot. I
think that speaks a lot to your character. That what you do matters so much to you. The people that you're dealing with matter so much that you will not.
Yeah. I just cannot.
Because you just don't know when that call, that email, that text is going to come in.
Right. And I carry so many listings, you don't know when you're going to get an offer. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's okay if somebody sends me an offer at 10 a.m. I'm not going to take or 10 p.m. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take it. If I'm sleeping, it's okay. Mm-hmm. But I'll see it in the morning when I get up, and then I'm going to be prepared. But if I went on a bender the night before and was drinking.
How good are you going to be?
No. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And I think it's the worst to me when people are like, have an expectation of me and I can't be responsive, right? Because I'm like, I feel like garbage. Mm-hmm. And if it's self-induced, I can't even imagine.
Do you plan for vacations? Do you take time off? Or are you always on?
I used to plan for vacations, and actually I did prior to COVID. I haven't had a like getaway vacation since 2020, and so that's something I know that I'm like missing in my life. I can feel it. Unfortunately, it's because my kids have gotten so busy.
Mhm.
Now my kids are in sports and winter sports, and so it's really hard to get like go to Florida, go wherever. And so it's like, okay, we either have to do it in October or we have to do it in March. And so it's just been trying to get around their sports. But we do mini vacations a lot. Like I'm a big, hey, we're going here for the weekend, we're going there. And yeah, my phone's still on. I do try to turn over the reins to like my other agents and stuff and say, hey, I'm out of town. I'm out. Like, you're going to show for me. And I do set that boundary. Like I just tell clients like, hey, I'm out of town this weekend. I can either show you on Monday if you want to wait for me, or I can send one of my colleagues.
Family time. Important.
Yeah, definitely.
So your agents, how many do you have?
I have 4 agents and myself.
So 5 in the office. Is that so? Real estate office right across the street. I don't know how many they have there. Is that pretty standard? Or as an example, so I have to drop this. And you're probably going to roll your eyes at me. Sirhan. Selling like Sirhan. The real estate reality show on Netflix.
Oh, I don't know it.
Oh, girl.
I don't know it.
It's so good. So it's this agent, this real estate guy who started during COVID.
Oh.
And he has built a multi-billion-dollar real estate company. He's got, and this is in Manhattan, he's got like 150 agents.
That's crazy.
Multiple offices across the country. And I know that for this show, it's probably super glammed up, but I love watching it. And I don't want to do real estate, but I love watching it. I'm like, how can you manage that many people, that many listings? And it seems so cutthroat.
It is super cutthroat.
I was just going to ask. It's super cutthroat.
Super.
Tell me about that.
Oh, it's like I said, if you don't have a grind, don't do it. If you don't want to be on all the time, don't do it. And if you can't stand competition, don't do it. I mean, everywhere you turn, every time you turn around, you're getting undercut by somebody. Your past client was in a wedding and that person's now a realtor, or your past client married somebody and they're a realtor, their brother's a realtor. So, I mean, you're like constantly trying to keep new clients in the pipeline because everybody knows somebody that's a realtor. And that's realtors' goals. Their goal should be that everybody knows they're a realtor, right? So that's a tough hustle. And so glammed up, absolutely. I figured out probably, I would say 7 years ago that wasn't going to be me. That I wasn't a big office. Like I was going to stay a boutique, and I didn't want to not sell. I wanted to, like, my goal was to sell, take care of people, take care of my clients, do a really good job. I felt compelled to have people have a good experience, and not that you couldn't train that. I just didn't want to do that. So I stayed where I was. I had the opportunity. I've had places try to franchise me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just
won't do it.
Won't do it. Not yet.
Stay true to who you are, where you are. For sure.
And good to those guys. Like I've heard of some stories and I've seen some guys just explode like that. And I think it's crazy. Like it makes my head spin. Like, because they have to be okay with getting support, right? You have to go so fast because they have to build such a big team and to expand. So kudos.
So the folks, your agents, there's 4 of you, total of 5 in your office. Are you all in the office at the same time?
Oh, no.
Never?
Hardly ever.
Yeah.
I mean, enough, but
it's a home base.
Yep. Real estate's a home base. We have office hours. I have an office admin, somebody that's there. But agents are free to come and go. And they're very much subcontractors. They do what they want when they want. So team building is important, but it's also tough. It's tough because it's a super independent industry. So trying to do, that's what I think I have the biggest challenge with. It's like, hey, let's do a team activity. And then it's like, I'm not coming in that day. I have this listing. I have this closing. And that's more important. So it's just like, whatever.
Sure. And I don't know you very well, but even in this little time that we've spent talking, I do see you my interpretation thus far is that you're very much a go-getter. You're very much, I would think, and correct me if I don't have this right, that you want your team to be that. Go-getters, be on, be there for your clients, provide the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Am I there?
Yep, you're there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know the mystery of trying to get everybody to do that. And I actually think in real estate, those people don't stay under a producer. They go become a producer themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's just like an unreasonable expectation of mine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I try to lead by example, and I try to show that. But I also know that it is super hard to be successful, and everybody wants to be successful until they see how much work it is.
Right. I think I am very inspired by sitting with you, and I thought I worked a lot, but
I think you do.
Not as much as what you undertake on the daily, weekly, monthly. So, knowing what you know now, after 18 years, would you do it again?
Ooh, tough question. Yeah, I think I would. I mean, I want to say no because I think I've done it long enough now that I'm like, hey, I need to have hard boundaries. Mm-hmm. And I do know some of the seasoned agents I've seen, they go south. I was just talking to one. She's like, I just spent 4 months in Florida. Mm-hmm. She's like, Joe. And it's like, well, maybe I'm there. But I started so young in real estate. They're 50s and 60s telling me this, like late 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I'm literally like, I'm there. I'm 41. I'm there. Like, is that right? You know? And they just are like, yeah, I've built enough business that it's like, peace out. And I think I kind of learned that this year too, is I took a couple listings this winter in the start of the soul season. And we literally get so slow come Thanksgiving. It shuts off. It's cold. It's snowy. The people are doing holidays. Sure. The last thing they're doing is moving. And if they have to, they will. But it's such a small portion. It's like not worth trying to do it. And I did it this year. I took a couple listings. We put it on for a little bit on the fall. And then they relisted in the spring. And exactly what I thought would happen is everybody's like, oh, that was on last year. Didn't sell. And it's like, no, they just were ready and didn't want to wait. And
right.
But the industry is so public. Everybody sees that. It's out there. And they're like, oh, they were on last fall.
It is very public, for sure. And the one thing I know in why I reached out to you is because not only do I see your office every time I'm down at Big Ole season 1, 2, 3, your advertising, it just is front of mind. It was front of mind for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's definitely working. And then I thought that there was something about you that drew me to you because I think you are what you say you are, a hardworking farm girl.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know more about that. Like, okay, what drives her? What motivates you to work as hard as you do? So as an example for me, it's not just one thing. It's multifaceted. I'll give you my top 3 things that motivate me. I shared with you earlier, offset that and this is constantly comes up, it seems like, in different interviews, that my dad and brother, I lost them when I was 18. And I couldn't imagine going through life without having them close to me in my heart and in going out and living life and doing the best that I can. I fail so many times. I drop the ball so many times, but I've always held them so close. It drives me almost to the point of insanity that I want to achieve for them. I want to accomplish for them. I don't want them to have lived and then that's it, they're gone. Oh no, they had a tremendous impact on me. 2, my niece and nephews, and particularly my niece who's with me so much of the time, she works with me here. I want to teach her everything that my dad taught me. I want to leave that for her. And then beyond that, there's all the kids that come to work with us.
Oh, yeah.
And
You're touching every one of their lives.
They're so fun. They're so full of potential. Like, I don't think they know how much potential they have and what they can accomplish. And if I can influence that just a little bit by having this space, that drives me. And the last thing, honestly, is as a kid, I was bullied a lot. And even as a child, it didn't really stick with me.
No.
My dad was very good at like, nope, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just kids. They're probably learning this at home. This is who you are. This is who I think you are. And somewhere along the way, I was like, okay, bullies, let's go. So I'm going to get a job. I've always had this mentality that I'm going to climb the ladder no matter where I go. And I tell my kids here, climb the ladder, have that approach. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, you approach it as you are going to go after a management job. So those are like my top 3 things that motivate me.
So you're goal driven.
Mm-hmm. You.
Me.
Tell me, yes.
So I would say that I'm driven by my children, my kids. That's like my whole world is about my kids, and it's about creativity. I have a really creative brain. My brain never shuts off. So creating spaces, bringing people to spaces is kind of like one of the things that make me tick. But my kids are really the biggest thing. Like my dad and mom made me who I am. My dad worked 2 jobs our whole life. He was a farmer and he did construction. And so every time I meet more people that knew my dad, they're like, oh my gosh, you're like your dad. Mm. And then they'll tell me things like how much I'm like him or was like him. And he's still alive. So that's one of the things that make me tick is because I want to be able to take care of my parents. I grew up super poor. So I'm driven to be successful because we didn't have anything growing up. And I had a super simple life. I was happy. But I didn't realize how underprivileged I was, which is, gosh. Yeah. But my aunt said this to me, and I thought that it really struck home because she said, we all had a bad childhood. Mm-hmm. We did. Mm-hmm. Every one of us can look and say, we had a bad childhood at some point in our life or a long time. But she goes, you can always start having a good childhood. At any point in your life, you can decide that your childhood wasn't that bad. Oh my gosh. I need to meet your auntie. Right? Isn't it true?
Yes.
And she ran away from home when she was 12.
Oh, she did. Mm-hmm. And she has this perspective.
Yeah, and it's true. And when she said that to me, it resonated because it's true. If I documented my childhood, it's pretty rough. Mm-hmm. Like it was full of.
See, I would never. I don't get that sense from you at all. I mean, just to know you the little bit that I do, I see you as a very driven individual. That's the vibe I get. Successful, smart, beautiful. You've got everything pulled together. You know what you want, and you're gonna do it. And I
just wear crazy well.
Yes, I would never think that. She grew up extremely poor and had all of these statistics against her.
Yeah,
you defied all of that.
Well, and I don't even think that I defied it. I don't think it was something that I was like, yep, I'm gonna make sure I'm better than this. I think I just knew what I had then, and I wanted to have more. And I also think it made me a better person because I had nothing. So I'm a huge risk. Go up. Yeah, I'm a huge risk taker. Mm-hmm. I have nothing to lose.
Sure.
I have nothing to lose. I came from nothing. It's like I can only go up. Even if I go up and I fail, even if I don't win a listing and it bothers me, it's like, okay, onward, because I didn't have one before, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have any of the things I had before. So everything I do is an improvement because even a failure, it's like, well, I didn't have anything I lost. So all it was a learning experience. Mm-hmm. Like, what did I gain from it? Okay, onward. Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a reason I wanted to bring you on. I'm so fascinated by you. I think you and I could talk forever. If there's one thing you could tell your clients about you and Real Estate by Joe, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Is it got to be a 10-second elevator
However
speech?
you want.
Okay.
Yep.
So at Real Estate by Joe, I have created a company that's built on the ethics of a hardworking Minnesota farm girl. So I think realtors get a stigmatism that they're only worried about the commission.
Mm-hmm.
They have kind of a stereotype that they're not very honest, not very hardworking. They get overpaid for what they do. And I know at our office that you won't feel that way if you come there. We're going to do the best job. We're going to treat you like a human being. We're going to explain things. Because I think in real estate, it goes so fast. People don't don't get it explained to them. And they're like, I don't even know what happened.
Sure.
Like, I don't know why. And so I feel like I spend a lot of time explaining the process. And they're like, we've sold 6 houses and we've never heard this. And so it's service, right? But it's more than that. What it is just taking the time and treating a person like a person, right? We're here together today, and so I'm giving you my time, and you're giving me yours, and so that's what you do. And I think in real estate, it's easy to not do that. It's easy to be like, this is a process.
On to the next, let's
on
go.
to the next.
Yep.
So Real Estate by Joe, you'll get customer service, and you'll get really down-home values, and you'll get a product that you're happy with.
I believe it 100%. Thank you. Oh, wait, I have one more question. Hang on a second. The real estate culture in Alexandria, is it positive? Is it pretty good? Y'all get along? It's good? Don't go into too much detail.
Careful what I say.
Right?
Who don't I like? No. It is, I think it's a really good, we're a tight-knit community. I think we work really well. I have a lot of respect for my colleagues. And I think we're small enough that we all know each other. The big dogs know the big dogs. And I think we all have a pretty common understanding of like, I do business like this, you do business like that. And I think for the most part, we all do business really fair.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. All right, folks. So that'll wrap it up with episode 15 with Real Estate by Joe. Joanna, it was a pleasure to sit with you and talk and visit and get to learn a little bit more about the person behind Real Estate by Joe. You are quite the little powerhouse on so many levels. CrossFit. I mean, she does CrossFit, you guys, which I'm going to look into. Just today I used to be a little more athletic. I'm now 55. And work has kind of taken over that time that I used to spend working out. And just today I was like, I really need to get back to working out.
Yeah. There's a gal in the gym. And it's not just for young people. There's a gal at the gym. She's in her 50s. I forget how old is she. I don't even want to say, but she's mid upper 50s. She was doing a handstand the other day. Yeah. And then she's doing handstand walks. And I was like, Julie, don't do that right by me. Because she's more advanced than me. And then she's doing like awesome toes to bar. And I said, good job. And I was so proud of her. And she's in her 50s. There are more women at that gym in their 50s that will smoke me all day long.
Oh my God. What a goal to set. Just kidding, Joe. I don't think I'll have the time. But no, I think you've inspired me on so many levels. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time to visit with me. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Grounds for Discussion. Thank you all for continuing to tune in. And this was, I have to say, one of my favorite episodes. So thank you to Joanna from Real Estate by Joe.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah.